I have a story for you which will show you it is possible to become a good performer even if at the moment you are not. I chose the story of my journey because it is long and exhausting. But the journey is long and exhausting. This story is spectacular. And if this journey has a happy ending, then any journey can. Hi, I'm Lenore. I'm a singer and a voice teacher, and I got from a place of being crippled about my singing to being able to sing in front of hundreds of people and getting paid for it. I started off with a serious anxiety of the mere thought of people hearing me sing. Watching me sing was even less conceivable.
Inconceivable. Inconceivable!
Sorry, I had to. In particular, I was scared that my family would hear me, especially my dad, because he wanted me to sing so badly. He pressured me to do it, and I did not handle it very well. At the age of 21, after leaving my parents' house, I finally mustered up the courage to take one voice lesson. Just for fun, no one has to know about this. This is a secret lesson. But alas, after one lesson, I realized this is true love. Undeniable, singing is the best thing in the world. Oh no. Now I had to do it. I had to sing. And no matter how scared I was about it, I knew that I would have to deal with it. So then at the age of 21, my journey to singing on stage began. And I'll tell you about the first 3 years of it. After those 3 years, I am by no means conquering the stage yet. It's just starting to get good. Told you it was long. But if you stick around, I'll tell you why I actually don't think it has to be this long and what in my journey actually made it so. I'll also tell you what I have to say and do about your journey not being so excruciating. So I'm struggling with my anxiety to be heard and seen for about a year. Practically forcing myself to do it, sing when there are people around, when I'm used to doing it only in empty bus stations until then. Then after 1 year, I stood in front of my friends in college and gave a little concert. Needless to say, my performance was far from golden. It was shaky, insecure, practically no vocal technique, but I did it. On goes my journey to getting more confident and less afraid of the stage. It took another year until I was able to invite my family, including my dad, to sit in the audience when I sing. Not a big deal for some people perhaps, but for me it was the biggest deal. It was closure, and I was so happy that I could do that. But that was not the end. On that stage with my dad in the audience, I was still very much dependent on the mercy of sheer luck. I didn't have a say, really, of how I sang. Fortunately, it was a small solo, and my dad would be over the moon no matter what came out of my mouth, so it did go well in that sense. But it took another year after that, with me rolling the dice on the stage again and again until it finally happened. I stood on stage and sang a duet with a famous Israeli soprano. And I noticed that some of my vocal and musical ideas were actually happening on the stage. I could choose what to do with my voice. Sometimes, not all the time, but it was the first time that I could have any kind of control. I was performing for the first time, actually. It was not perfect. When is it ever? But backstage, the conductor took my hands, looked me in the eyes, and said, "You just sang with a renowned soprano and you held your own. You've got a future, lady." Oh, that was the best moment of my life. Why did I have to suffer 3 years to have this one nice moment? I'll tell you why. It's like when my son was introduced to his first dreidel when he was 1.5 years old. He just held them at first in a random way and dropped them. He had no idea how to spin them. He watched us do it and he tried to imitate it, but he was very, very far away. So he just tried it again and again and again and again. And sometimes he would discover something that was a little bit more helpful. And after a while, he would realize that this is actually a good idea to stick to that thing. And after innumerous times of trying, one of the dreidels made half a spin. The process went on and on for ages. And eventually, he could do it. Okay, it only took him 1 month. But he's smarter than me. I don't know what you want me to say. Also, not traumatized yet. Maybe that was helpful too. What I'm trying to say is that my process was random. I had no idea how to get over my issues. I just had the determination, which apparently did the job, but it took a while. Had I known what to do, what's likely to work, when and how often to do it, how to deal with different outcomes, and so on, I could have marched that journey steadily and in a fairly straight line. But I didn't, so I went in circles, and I went back and forth, and sideways, and I got lost before I got where I wanted to be. Having gone through all of that, I now know the way. In fact, I know quite a few ways because of all the trial and error. I also know what would be a mistake and what would hold one back from succeeding in this endeavor. So I put it together. I made a program which others can use that will guide them towards conquering the stage. Not only if they have stage fright, because first you need to overcome your insecurities, and then you need to actually get better on the stage, come to a point when you actually can display your abilities. Anyone who has performed will tell you that at least in the beginning, the show will not roll the way you want it to. It will take a while, that's inevitable, but with some help and guidance, with some exercises, and with a plan which tells you what to do and when to do it, with all that, it will be a fruitful journey and shorter, much shorter than mine. That's my goal for you. If you want to get better on stage and you're committed to it, I'm all in. I can help you out. I hope you'll let me. And I hope I could give you a sense of what kind of difficulties can be overcome and assure you that now there is a way.